Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of It's Not Only Football, Friday Night Lights, and Beyond. Today, we are talking about Season 1, Episode 12, What to Do While You're Waiting. Zach?
Street Sue's coach. Matt and Smash double date with Julie and Waverly to a carnival. Panther playoff hopes are in someone else's hands, and Tyra proves to be the biggest badass in the world.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode. Zach's recaps are getting better. Your recaps are awesome. They're so much better than other people's recaps, which you used to read for yourself. What to do while you're waiting. This episode was directed by Carrie Aaron, who also directed y'all's favorite thing for me to say, Who's Your Daddy?
Woo!
Yeah. And it was directed by our director of photography, David Boyd.
Cool.
This man, for everybody out there listening, is a damn legend.
Oh, he's amazing.
He is a legend. He is a god amongst men when it comes to not only being a DP, but also a flat-out director. And he did a fantastic job in this episode. He was the director of photography on Deadwood. He was the director of photography in the first season of The Walking Dead. Firefly.
And also, just so that people know, when you're the director of photography of something, especially if you do the pilot, you're setting up the look of that show and how it's going to look for, hopefully for the rest of that series. So, it's pretty cool that he's done so many iconic shows.
Yeah. The way this show feels as far as, the lines that are delivered are Pete and Jason. And the way the show feels as far as the look of it is Pete and David Boyd. And, he started just flat out being a kick-ass director now. He's directing on As We See It. And he is a producer as well on that show with Jason Kadam. So very, very cool. We'd like to start off every episode by saying, if What to Do While You're Waiting isn't only football, what is it for you? Do you want me to start today, Zach, or are you ready?
Yeah, you can start. I just was like, what is What to Do While You're... What is he talking about? What show are you doing? And then it's the name of the episode.
It's the name of the... if it's not only football, this episode for me is about kids having to act like adults. I mean, very plainly put, it happens in almost every household in this episode. And at some point in your life, it's going to happen to you as well. So something I connected very well with.
Okay, for me, if it's not only about football, this episode, I mean, I have to just say, I'm distressed about this whole, what's going to happen with the Street family and with Coach and the divide and sort of, it's kind of like, it's almost like the breaking of what's been expected already of things and the changing of the way things have been and sort of setting a new path going, and also sort of like the concept of boundaries and personal boundaries and how certain things, it's like there's this almost like codependent relationship with this community and like they are in football and the town and the thing. And it's sort of like having to carve back out these boundaries of like what's actually right and what's wrong and what really happened and what didn't and who gets sort of left behind and all that.
Yeah. So that was... So yours is
like
the lawsuit and boundaries.
Yeah, it's like breaking the way that things have been and realizing there's going to be a nasty little fallout sometimes when you carve your boundaries.
Yeah, trust me. This episode, I was not happy with what was happening.
It's bad.
Go ahead, Zach.
It shows.
I mean, I think you guys put it more eloquently, but mine was kind of about parent-kid, parent-child relationships. It's the evolution of Saracens with his father. It's Street kind of coming into conflict with his parents about the lawsuit. Mm-hmm. It's Tyra having to stand up to her mother and create real significant boundaries and where that takes them. And so that's what it was to me. I can't think of a specific word.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
It's good.
The episode opens up by letting us know that there is no game for the Panthers this week, but there still is a massive game to be played.
Can I ask you a question about that? Because I was confused. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a second bye week, did we?
Yeah, in high school you get 2 bye weeks.
Oh, you do?
What's bye week?
In high school. So a bye week is when you do not have a game. But the season is still continuing.
Right, so it's not you.
So they rotate bye weeks, and in high school, when I was in Florida, we had 2 bye weeks, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I think that's something that I don't think we need to throw a challenge flag on. I think...
No, I was just curious.
Yeah, but there is a big game going on, Arnett Meade, which we learned earlier this season. Arnett Meade is like the most like consistent name we hear and hate.
That's our
right?
rivalry. That's rivalry.
That's our rivalry.
That's the worst
right?
one.
They're the ones who I smashed their car. They trashed our locker room.
Yeah, they're rude.
And it's based on A&M Consolidated. But they're playing against the Buckley something. They don't even tell us a mascot.
Tell
I
us
put
about
on my
the-
little
tell us about
Sherlock
the
Street
jersey.
hat, and I tried to go and find who Buckley was patterned after. Hey, you know what? Let me show you something. You see this cool shirt? See this cool shirt? Yeah, this was given to us by our props and equipment team.
Sick.
And look what's on the back.
Let me see.
Look what's on the back.
It's all the different schools that we played against.
It's all the different schools that
It's cool is what it is.
Woo! And you know
These
you're
are-
in if you're getting a shirt from the props
I
department.
also
These are
got
all
to
the-
tell you, I am impressed because 16 years later, that thing is white.
I know how to do my laundry, son.
Jesus.
I know how to do my laundry. And also, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to flip the hat around today.
Woo!
I know y'all jealous of the
Suck
full
on
hearts
that.
hat.
I am. I'm fuming.
Woo,
That's
full
tight.
hearts. This was from our 10-year reunion, actually. Entertainment Weekly brought us down to Texas.
Yeah.
And we did like a 10-year reunion. It's the last time I saw Kevin Rankin in person. That was like 7 years ago, though, man. That was so
was a
long
while
ago.
ago.
The 10-year reunion of Friday Night Lights was 7 years ago. Now I
Jesus.
just want to cry. But we went back to Panther Field. We went to the field house.
Was this at ATX?
In Southwest, no, it was just
a separate thing.
Its own, separate thing. And
Was I there?
Southwest flew us down. I don't remember, Zach.
Wow.
I don't think I was there. I didn't get invited.
didn't
No,
get the
you
invite?
got invited. You were probably just busy. Don't be over here trying to start shit.
That's cool.
He wants a hat.
And then we hit the Saracen house, and I think we just start there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like your dad and you seem to have turned a corner. Did this episode feel just a lot different and easier for you?
We said you didn't have to go, right? Isn't that part of what happened at the end of the last one? Is he's like, you
No,
don't...
we get there. Oh, no. we
No,
don't.
Zach. Matt Saracen shows up back home and sees his father heartbreakingly taking care
Right.
of his mother for the
In
first
this
time in a
episode,
gentle way.
in this episode is where we find out. He says, "Look, we'll figure it out. I'm going to stay. I'm not going to go back to Iraq."
Yeah.
And I help him find a job with Buddy Garrity,
Right.
which was so fun to get to do a scene with Brad. And I'll never forget all those deer heads with the antlers
God.
in his office and just being like, "Yeah, of course those are there." And I think that was an actual. That wasn't set. That was like.
Wow.
No. That was us. That was an actual car dealership for sure. But they would dress that office every
Okay.
time for Buddy. Yeah, they would clean out the old office and then bring all the
He
buddies.
knows. He's got the prop department.
buddies grease the shit in. Yeah, I got the prop
on.
department shirt, man.
But yeah, no, I mean it was a fun episode. It was fun to like kind of have a lighter episode, not like amount of material wise, but subject matter, and you know, it's. I think it's really cool with my character on this episode is that he's having a good time and enjoying life, but that comes into the realization that what's best for him and his family is not what he thought he wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and ultimately sees his dad's a crap car salesman, but his dad's sucking it up and doing his best.
Yeah.
And putting his best face on, and I think that kind of makes Matt realize like this isn't what we need. What we need is you to be happy doing what's important to you, and you're screwing up our dynamic. Three's a crowd, you know. When it was just me and Grandma,
It's true.
but like you said, it's kids needing to be adults, and he has to say to his father, "You're not happy here. I can handle it. We'll figure it out."
Yeah.
Which I think was, you know,
And he tries. I mean, he tries, right, to have the job at the car dealership, and he does his best, but you can kind of tell it's kind of not really, like, necessarily the best fit.
No,
he's not
he's-
completely
yeah,
comfortable.
I'm gonna want to look at your script because in my mind I've always had this memory of in that scene at the car dealership there being a scripted line where I said, "Dad, look at me, I'm a man now."
Okay.
I definitely said it on set. Well, we're not saying that.
That's going under review.
As we get into a portion of this episode where one of you is talking for a little while, I will try and thumb through this script and find that. I did not read that line,
And will
but
you look
if
at me
it's
when you
in
say
there,
it? I like
I
that.
want to know if it is. But the car dealership stuff, what was so jarring to me is you know, a couple of episodes ago, we were like, oh, we're seeing Buddy in a different light. Oh, he's really caring for his daughter. Oh, it's just a
Right.
football game. It doesn't matter. You're my daughter. And then you see him take out an American flag pin and be like, I hired this guy. He's not doing a great job. Let's pin the American flag pin on
I
the war
know.
hero. Like there's almost no end to what he'll go
The
through
exploiting.
or go, you know, what ends he'll go to be successful, whether it's, you know, the football team being successful or like his car dealership being successful. And I get it. It's his business and he has to push that agenda. But I mean, oof,
Yeah.
that made me feel not great.
No, that was icky. I will say one other thing. I was kind of going through the storyline, which we've kind of covered, but I do remember that scene on the steps with Julie, and
Was this your risky business scene where you had no pants on? You're cooking in the kitchen with no pants on? just the shirt on.
Pan down, am I right?
I somehow missed that scene. What?
Yeah, you're in the kitchen, you're like cooking, she's like been waiting at the library for an hour for you, and you didn't go pick her up.
Oh no,
and,
this is later. This is when she feels bad for me and she brings me like frozen lasagnas that Tammy made.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, I say, like, I just wanted my dad to want to be here. That was one of those scenes where I've always remembered shooting at David Boyd because it was, you know, the light, it was actually sunset. I call that golden hour. But it was so quick in like a couple of takes, and it just was a scene that just kind of lived there and sat there and was quiet. And it was, I always remember filming that scene, and it was cool watching it back and being like, yeah, that's still the good memory. It wasn't like, oh, this became so much better in my head.
Yeah, I love those moments. I mean, it's like, even though, yes, we're telling stories and it seems it's whatever, but there are those few scenes sometimes when you film something where you're like, something really felt, there's like a stillness and a presence and like a moment really captured there. And being able to actually have that on film sometimes like is actually really a gift. And it can be a really beautiful thing to be able to look back and have like that exact moment in your life and the way you remember it. And it was just like, that's kind of one of the special things of what we do.
The thing that's especially cool to hear that moment being such a fond memory for you is because my memories of like golden hour or magic hour are just nightmares, man. Because usually the DP's like, why is this not in the right place? We're going to lose the light. We're going to lose the light. And like people are screaming at you and like you get one take at the most important scene you've ever done in your life and you're like, did we get it? Like,
I was shooting
all of a sudden you're in darkness.
I was shooting something in Vancouver, and my wife actually wrote the final episode of it.
Wow.
And so she flew up. I had one scene left to shoot, and it was kind of not a nothing scene. It's a really cool big scene, but it was literally 2 lines. But it was a golden hour scene, and it was raining, and everything got messed up. And like she flew up with me because she had stayed home to take care of our family while I was gone. And she's like, "Well, that was the most anticlimactic thing ever, watching something I wrote get filmed, because it was like go go go." It was like 2 takes and then like a bunch of grips. Literally, like they'd put this wall on wheels that they needed to roll away and disappear, and of course it was like and it like fell off a curb. They're like, "Can you guys just carry it?" And they all look around, they're like, "You want me to carry this huge wall?" They're like, "Yeah, well those wheels aren't going to work." And like she's an actress, she's been on many sets, so she knows how it works. But it was just like this letdown of like, cool, I got to watch one take.
God, sometimes the panic too, like that reminds me of when I did this movie Nights in Rodanthe, Hold Your Applause. It was a Nicholas Sparks movie. Please hold your applause, I said. But basically it's Diane Lane and Richard Gere, and there's like this scene where she's supposed to be like walking down the beach in like a white sweater, and it's so beautiful, and the water and the thing, but we're in North Carolina during hurricane season, and there was this like insane storm, and the waves were like so intense, and they were like crashing up to the shore. It was like getting worse and worse. And I remember there was like a scene where the director was so stressed by the waves, he actually, to a bunch of grips, was like, he made them get a flag, which is, you know, a big piece of fabric that kind of like blocks the light or what else, and he was like, go out there and hold the waves back. And they were like, what? He was like, take this flag and just
the
just
waves
a little
back
bit.
in the ocean?
Hold them back, yes. And they were like, they like walked towards it, like looking at each other, like up to their ankles, holding these flags. And they were like, what are we doing? Like, it was actually like just a moment of like complete losing control, panic.
That is such a movie set moment, though, where like you ask somebody to do something impossible and they slowly walk towards it. And
looking
you know
at each other.
the inner dialogue is, how the
maybe I can still get my real
estate
estate license.
do this? Why am I here? What am I doing? I'm sorry to disappoint you, Zach.
When you draft,
I'm sure that was it.
In this script, when you introduce your dad to Buddy, it's very simple. Hi, Mr. Garrity.
No, it's not that scene.
What are you talking about?
It's a scene towards the end. I'll find it.
Come on.
You
want to
start
talking about
Be careful. Don't have dirty hands.
You look
on
at
his
it.
nice
You look at
script.
it, and you know I talk for a while, so hopefully you'll be able to find what.
So let's start talking about Street.
Haven't found.
Oh,
what?
I get it. You know that song?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I had to finish it.
Hey guys, I know you've heard me talk about movement before. You know, MVMT movement. They make watches, glasses, all kinds of accessories, whether you're going to a game on a Friday night, just like they do in Friday Night Lights, or you got to hit a red carpet. I got to tell you, weekends are busy. Am I right, guys? I mean, listen, last weekend, I went to a winery and then a casino and then a dive bar, country western saloon, all in the same day for a couple of friends' birthdays. And what I took with me was a pair of glasses and a watch from Movement. Movement makes all kinds of accessories that have a versatility that is unrivaled. you can take it with you wherever you need to go without having to change your outfit or having to change your watch. And on top of being versatile, I got to tell you, they are comfortable as all get out, and they are durable as heck as well. Listen, the glasses that I got, if I'm hanging upside down on a jungle gym at a playground with my kids during the day, they don't go anywhere. They're light, they're smooth, and they look fantastic. And my watch, oh man, I have the Element in midnight blue, and it's ceramic. I got to tell you, if you're worried about durability, about making sure your watch can make it through a full day, listen, they take ceramics and put them on spaceships and send them to the moon. And that is what you are wearing on your wrist. Affordability, versatility, durability, 3 things that you're hoping for in any accessory that you're wearing. And Movement gives you that in spades. And they're elegant, all of them. Listen, the watch has precise Japanese watch movements and industry-leading materials, from complex ceramics like the one I have to sophisticated automatics, solar-powered dials to upcycled ocean plastic cases. Their glasses are light, like I said earlier. They come in a matte format, which is so cool, and I love it to death. Listen, one size fits all for a chill shopping experience. It's fast. They got free shipping. They got returns always. And it also makes for a tried and true gift of great style and everyday confidence for anybody in your life that you know wants to get up and go. So make your everyday sidekick for life's adventures a Movement. That's MVMT. Get 20% off at MVMT.com and use code FNL to get yourself some money off today. That's MVMT.com, code FNL for 20% off. And you could look fly like me.
So for most of us, learning a second language in high school was kind of a waste of time. I learned French, never used French. Don't know why I took French, thought it was romantic or something. But now I live in Los Angeles. It's much more convenient to speak a little bit of Spanish. And thanks to Babbel, the language learning app that's sold to more than 10 million subscriptions, I have an addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language. Look, whether you're going to be traveling abroad or trying to order food at a restaurant, Babbel teaches you how to speak it with just bite-sized language lessons that you'll actually use in the real world. Besides living in Los Angeles, the reason why I originally tried to learn Spanish is because I was working in Costa Rica in the mountains, helping out on a farm. I spoke nothing. Every night I would sit there and with my little dictionary trying to memorize words. And when I got home, I downloaded Babbel, and it is so much more fun. And I can do it anywhere and everywhere because guess what? We always have our phone on us. They're just 15-minute lessons. They're a perfect way to learn a new language on the go, on the train, not in your car. Don't do it while driving. Other language learning apps, they use AI for their lessons plans, but Babbel lessons are created with over 100 language experts. The teaching method is scientifically proven to be effective. And I can say scientifically, I have learned Spanish. With Babbel, you could choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish. You can learn French, Italian, German, plus Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and accent. Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? See, I'm perfecto. There's so many ways to learn with Babbel. In additional lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. So start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/FNL. That's babbel.com/FNL for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.
Saracen has his hands in a lot of different storylines in this. We have the Waverlash happening in this episode.
Love the Waverlash.
Smash and Waverly, where Smash is just beside himself because this girl doesn't want to hang out with the Smash. She doesn't want to hang out with the Smash because he talks about himself in the third person all the time.
And he says that terrible, disgusting thing about his trumpet.
Oh, yeah.
That's disgusting.
Can you say the line?
He says, I've got a trumpet that needs polishing.
Oh, my God.
How did it feel when I did it into your eyes? Not great, right?
I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. I'm looking away. I'm averting my gaze just for a moment and trying to reset.
Recover.
But his brilliant solution is to get other people to lie for him. Like he somehow ropes you and Julie, which are two people I wouldn't expect.
I didn't think we would go along with it, but apparently we did.
But the cool thing about it is at least it shows like your friendship with him is evolving, even though it's off screen. Like you and Smash are like super buds now, like, which is pretty cool. He's still working at the Alamo Freeze, the fast food chain that shall not be named.
Yep.
And, it's just cool to see that at least continuation. But, man, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. He's like, why don't you tell me a bunch of fancy schmancy stuff to, like, impress Waverly? And then the two of them end up together at this rodeo fair that is at the end of the episode. I'm talking about Julie and Waverly. And you just know, like, right away, Smash is screwed.
This is going to go south.
It's not going to happen.
Screwed. and it happens. But I love Smash, and we'll just blow through his storyline really quickly because it is just about him and Waverly just trying to find common ground. And it turns out that honesty for Smash is the best way to do that. And he walks in at the end, and I love that moment where Gaius is like, look, yeah, I call myself the Smash. I love football. I love being a star. I love being good at this. I love playing this game. And I love acting this way, but I really like you. So can you accept me for that? And can we, move forward a little bit? And it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's like, honesty is the best policy.
And accepting, it's not like he's, I think initially he does kind of put this thing on almost, he tries to use it because he's used to that being able to like get him far in life, and he tries to use it to get her, and she's like, no. And I like that he sort of, though, instead of being like, I can be the different man, like he's like, look, these parts of me are who I am, instead of being the different man.
What if he did that? What if he did the scene in a British accent?
I
when
can
he came
be the
in?
different. She'd be like, yes, be the different man. We can be different together. I like
have you
that
known
he's
anybody?
acceptance.
Have you ever known anybody who talked about themselves in the third person ever?
I can't imagine.
You do?
I mean,
Really?
not well. Like
Please
back
tell
in
us.
Junior high or something.
Oh.
Bro, that doesn't count.
Oh, okay, sorry.
mean,
My
that's like-
friends
You said ever. Have you ever known anybody?
my friends nicknamed me Max Effort, but not in a good way, like in a bad way, because like I'm the
Because you
one
try
that,
so hard, but you always fall a little short.
no.
That came
Oh.
way too
No.
quick to you.
Wow,
I was
that
just trying to.
I'm just going to grab my chapstick.
I was just trying to
deep in-
analyze and book club.
deep in my soul. No, they said that I'm the guy that always I'm always chasing down every loose ball and running out every fast break when like playing a pickup basketball game on a middle school basketball court. I go too hard. And sometimes I will. Sometimes I'll be like, yeah, max effort, baby. Max is in the house. I guess I've done it myself. I'm that guy. Ugh.
It's okay.
definitely okay.
We forgive you.
It's very situational, though. It's not all the time.
It's better
anyway.
to over-try than not
you
try
go
at all.
max effort on this podcast.
Yeah,
man.
you do,
If the
dude.
people could see your notes.
You're so max effort. We've been calling you that behind your back.
I know.
But in a loving way.
Right.
That's the
No,
difference.
yeah, but I do too much. I talk about too
No.
much. I broach too
No,
many
you don't do
subjects.
too much.
You don't
I
do
go
too
too
much
far.
at all.
I
No,
go
you
too
don't.
far.
Acceptance. You walk in here, you say, I'm Scott Porter. I love this podcast.
try
I love
too
Friday Night
hard.
Lights. I wear my prop
But you need to
shirt.
start acceptance like Waverly accepts Smash.
Yeah, we accept you.
And we're all going to move
Really?
on in this great relationship to the
It's
next
really
subject.
tasty.
I love you guys. I love you
love
guys.
you.
I will say
Scott.
though, with this, this isn't on camera, and part of the building the relationship between Saracen and Smash is it meant I got to hang out with Gaius more on set.
Fun.
And even if nothing's really on camera or there's no dialogue, we just get to hang more. And I love Gaius; he's such a fun, great guy. But there was a moment at this carnival where we're standing and having our dialogue together, and these two extras came and stood like right in front of us between the camera.
While rolling.
we're doing the scene,
Amazing.
while you're rolling.
Me and guys, because the way we shot, it's like, oh, cameras will move,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, but like just kept going, but kind of we're losing it because we're like, why are we still filming? Like, there's no way the camera can see us when we're going through the scene, and it was just kind of this really funny moment. We cracked up, but then when we went to at the end of the season, there was like a blooper reel that they showed at one point.
Oh my God, hilarious.
And they had the footage, and they put arrows and wrote clueless extras. This is one of my favorite random dumb moments on this show.
I
Wait,
love it.
I have a question because I can't remember. Look, Street didn't get out much. Like, all my scenes were in my house. Actually, no, that's not true. Like, I started getting around
started
town
getting
a little
You
bit.
were wheeling.
But or like at the hospital, most of my scenes
Mm-hmm.
were there, and then in my little bedroom, like most of my scenes were there. I went to a damn fair. I was like, "Hey, Lila, you ready to like reintroduce ourselves to the world at
Dang.
the rodeo this Friday night?"
Everybody's
Like,
doing it. Come on.
Yeah.
But I got there. Like, did we build that thing, or was that like an actual just carnival, and we were like, "Hey, can we have it for a couple
No,
hours?"
so we built that thing. That
The
was
entire
just,
thing.
that
We
was-
built that.
It was
thing.
just a field, and here's the thing: it really made me feel like an asshole.
What?
My high school girlfriend, who I dated for like 7 years,
Yeah.
when she graduated college, went to the Peace Corps, and then
Of course she did.
Of course she did. And then I went to
Hit
be
me
an
up
actor.
everybody out there, hit us up in the comments and let us know if it just really tracks that Zach's
Don't forget he
ex-girlfriend
camped or
joined the
something.
Peace Corps.
This is-
Yeah. So anyway, she did the Peace Corps, and she came back, and on her way home, because we hadn't seen each other in a year or so, stopped in Austin to see me. And I was kind of proud of myself. I'm on this, and she's excited for me. Your dream's coming true. You're on
Are
a
you still
TV
dating?
show.
You're not still dating at this
We're,
point.
we're not dating, but it's one of those where it's
In
like,
the air.
oh, is this gonna?
Sure.
And so it happened to be when we were filming this carnival.
Oh my
And she
God.
comes out with me to the carnival, and she's like, "Is this always here?" And I go, "Oh no, we this is just for the show." And she was like, "How much money did it cost to build a carnival in the middle of nowhere?" I was like, "I don't know, man. I mean, I think the budget for the show." And she was just, she didn't judge or anything, but it
And
was just
how
like,
are you going to replant the soil?
Yeah,
that you've
really. She's
torn
been
up?
out there like
Bringing all
killing
this
like that.
heavy
herself.
machinery.
But it was
out
just
here.
that kind of culture shock of,
Of course.
you know, I've been
Yeah.
living in a third world country, helping people who have no money, and you're just building carnivals for a TV show
For
and,
no reason.
That's bonkers.
Yeah, it
Did
was-
we build
It
the
is
rodeo
insane.
stall too? Like, holy crap!
yeah,
Holy
the
shit!
whole thing was built.
That's insane.
insane because I showed up and I was like, oh, like I guess
to
we
find
rented
a
out.
rodeo.
We rented the carnival.
I guess the carnival's here next weekend, and they came a week. I don't know. Like it was like so weird though because it was in the middle of nowhere. BFE. They built this thing. It was like something Wicked This Way Comes, like where like a carnival just shows up. Does anybody know this movie? Do you guys know
but
this
I
movie?
was
Never
just
mind.
going with it.
Somebody out there, please understand that reference. You also were tied into Julie in one of my favorite scenes of the episode too. She comes and she sees in the risky business scene when I don't know who cooks anything that sizzles on the stove without pants on. Brave man,
Yeah, jeez.
Did I
brave
not have
man.
pants on?
Your nut is
You
going to get
didn't
sizzled
have
by that
pants.
oil.
I'm pretty sure in that scene.
I was roasting some
If
nuts.
you did, I was seeing something. I don't know what I was seeing. But
see
she
what
comes
we
to the
all
door.
see.
Put that under
But then she
review.
goes home and she walks into the house and she goes, I just want to say to you guys that I love you and you're the greatest parents that have ever existed. And I'm going to my room now. And Coach Taylor looks at Sammy with the smuggest smile on his face.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
us. Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us. Look at what we've
That
done.
was such a great moment.
Look at us. And she goes, oh no, honey. Something terrible has happened. And he's like, what? And they go into the room and
That's
she's just
incredible.
like, no one's taking care of Matt. He's taking care of everything. He's got so much on his plate. And Coach's reaction is, oh, Matt Saracen's a stink bug. You can't squash him if you try. And I was like, and also we find out in that scene you're 16. So
wrong.
good.
Well,
I don't know.
the age thing
15,
is
16.
a little confusing.
Fluid
about
age.
this.
Fluid
The
ages of
times,
everybody.
the age.
on this show. So that was one of, the stink bug that can't be squashed. Somebody I wanted to be squashed in this episode, and I don't mean to make light of it because I want to shift into Tyra's storyline on this episode. Who we haven't seen her in a couple of episodes really, outside of like the one
Ugh.
badass line
This
where
is a
she
huge,
walks up and slaps Riggins and says anybody but her.
amazing.
But we have seen less of her. And there's two storylines in the script for her.
Mm-hmm.
There's one of Riggins consistently trying to apologize to
Right.
her. And there's a scene that we were robbed of Riggins and Landry together
Oh,
where
horses.
Riggins is like trying to be very honest and earnest with her and saying he screwed up and all this stuff. And she's like, I can't right now. I have got so much on my plate, and walks away. And much like he does the Saracen, Landry walks up behind him and he's like, oh, that ship has sailed, my friend. It looks like it's time to get a different boat or like something like that.
There are no pants. Wait, or are those pants?
Those are pants.
Are they khakis?
Are they pants?
I'm
I
wearing
think he's wearing like
khakis.
flesh-colored pants.
Ugh, flesh-colored pants.
You are wearing flesh-colored
I
pants.
don't like this at all.
Here,
I don't
show-
like some of the
oh, yeah,
words that
no.
we
Those are
say.
pants. Okay.
Oh, they are pants?
All right.
They're
Sorry,
wrinkly,
I
flesh-colored
interrupted
pants.
you, Scott. I knew I wasn't doing a scene with no pants on.
This is the
Yet.
danger of watching an episode while reading a script and noting the episode all at the same time. Is I looked up and was like, he has no pants on, but I'm writing and the
going.
thing.
Let me
and so-
write down to talk
No
about that.
pants.
Well, it just like it was
Maybe
very
spend
like,
a little less time
anyway,
researching
okay.
what teams that the teams are dressed
No,
up as.
This
no.
is something that people like, and I won't hear it
I
anymore,
like it.
Zach.
Sorry.
Listen, this is about
anyway,
Tyra.
yeah,
This is
let's-
not about
yeah,
football
let's get
or
into it.
your problems. It's about Tyra.
We meet for the first time Dana Wheeler Nicholson, who played
Tyra's mama.
Tyra's mom, and
I worked with her.
you did.
I'm interjecting myself.
Yes.
I worked with her on
Where?
the second movie I ever did. It was called Bye Bye Love. Don't worry about it. You guys were just a twinkle in your mother's eye at this
You're
time.
younger than both of us.
Well, Metaphorically.
I've always been a twinkle in my mother's eye.
Okay, that's enough. It was Matthew Modine, Paul Reiser, Randy Quaid. There was a whole thing. And Rob Reiner was involved. It's the whole thing. Don't worry about it. The point is that she was in it. And it's like a 90s like dating. They're all like, what are we doing? Who are we dating? What's going on? Single dad divorce movie situation. But she played one of the women that one of the dads is dating. And she was so funny and good and amazing in it. And she's also in one of my favorite movies, Tombstone. Really excellent. Opium. You're no Daisy.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Here we go. She's amazing.
Well, in this particular series, you start to see once again a kid who is standing up and taking care of their own parent in this household. And we've met Stacey Oristano, Mindy Collette, Tyra's sister, but we haven't met any of their parental units yet. And now you meet her mom for the first time, who is dating just a guy that's just bad news.
Ugh, Bob.
What a perv,
Bob.
dude.
Commenting on their butts in the kitchen. Like,
Yeah.
what a disgusting pig.
Yeah, he's like, your whole family is
dude in the
genetically
living room.
gifted in the back end or something like that.
can't.
I'm like, what are we? This isn't right. None of this is right. And it's heading south too. But when things start to get physical in the
I
house,
can't. It's horrible.
Adrian in that scene,
Yeah.
and the freedom that Friday Night Light grants you to be leaping over couches, breaking anything in the room. They
insane.
told her carte blanche, like, swing
Go
that
for
poker
it.
anywhere you want. And however this scene makes you feel, take it out on this set.
Yeah.
Just go. And man, she did.
Yeah.
And then he ends up grabbing that fireplace poker from her. And the fierceness in Annie's face when she's like, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Or leave forever, basically. Oh, man.
It's so amazing.
How did that scene make you guys feel? Or have you ever had to be in a scene that has that kind of emotion? Because I don't think I ever have.
I have a little bit. It's always hard. It would have been, they're always easier in a setting like this show because you're kind of a little more roped into, I need to say these lines or I need to do it the way it's blocked as opposed to just be this person in this moment.
Yeah.
As you said, jump over the couch, knock this thing over, whatever. Just make it real. But yeah, it's always... Yeah, I said she's the biggest badass.
Yeah, she really, once again, Tyra is like a total hero. This is something that, like, she's constantly, like, evaluating things that are, maybe just taken for granted or are what they are and saying, like, no, that does not work.
Yeah,
absolutely not,
Not even, it's not even just holding up this fire poker, but standing up to her mom and saying, if you don't do what's right, I'm out.
I'm out. It's him or me. And that is, like,
because
really iconic to say.
Her mom has a number of habits that you see, evidence of in this episode. When she goes back to see her mom when her mom's in bed, you can see the prescription bottles laying on the bed with her. And a lot of times those things aren't those people's faults when it comes to the prescription stuff and the opioids and all of those things. And she sees that her mom is struggling in many ways. And then they go and they have this amazing night at the fair and they're just the two of them. And you get the sense that maybe they haven't been in this place together, this unified, this coupled, and you get it all. And then he shows back up at the fair. And like you said, him or me. And I love the resolution of it.
Yeah. Well, and then she has the chutzpah to follow through on that when she thinks that,
Well, she assumes that her mom's going to bring the guy back to the house.
But she's like, this is the boundary that works for me. And also then her sort of like, implementing that change and like breaking that, pattern in her familial relationships and, that her mom was having of taking back these guys who do not treat them right, and her sort of not only saying no to that, but also I'm not doing that in my life with Riggins.
Yeah. Big move. And a lot of Tyra, Tim scenes haven't been making it into the episodes, but have been in the scripts. But a lot of them are the show trying to figure out how to say the same thing and get Tim to the place where he's so honest, and he is in that scene.
Yeah.
He's like, I did, and she says, this is exactly what somebody would say before they just revert to who they were.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, can Tyra not believe that people can kind of change at this point? Maybe not until she fully changes her situation.
And she's also like, I think, to a degree, that's like such a tricky thing about relationships and people in general is like, yes, people can change, but at some point what point does it not work for you anymore? And like I think that's like a really grown up thing, another kid's having to grow up thing to realize is like, look, you're on your own journey and like I support you and I'm glad I understand you have to do this as many times as it takes for it to make sense to you to actually like implement this change in your life and have it really be yours, but I can't go with you on that journey anymore.
100%. Yeah. And we've seen a lot of the kids in this town having to make this decision. But you've got to come to that moment on your own, and it's cool to see Tyra kind of do it first.
Yeah, she's
almost
best.
Before anybody else.
Hey everybody, it's May. So a little factoid about me. I'm obsessed with the concept of vitamins, but I always find myself being a little freaked out by what's on the label or what's in them. And I really want a multivitamin, but I can never find one that I trust all the ingredients and how it's made and, one that has like everything in just one capsule. So I end up with like 15 of them. And then I'm just like, I'm too tired to take all 15 of these vitamins, which is why I really love Ritual, especially their essential for women 18 and up. I've been taking it for a while and I really love it because it's a clinically backed multivitamin for women 18 and up with high quality and traceable key ingredients in a clean, bioavailable form. It has 9 key nutrients just in 2 capsules per day. You can do that. Anybody can do that. And their unique beadlet in oil is even patented, and it's really cool to look at. It's cute. Ritual's Essential for Women 18 and Up is one of the few women's multivitamins that's USP verified. That means what's on the label is what's in the formula. And it's soy-free, gluten-free, vegan-friendly, and formulated without GMOs. Also, it has a nice pepperminty essence, which is really great if you have an upset tummy, which frankly, I do almost always. So come on, no more shady business. Ritual's Essential for Women 18 and Up is a multivitamin you can actually trust. Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. So visit ritual.com/FNL to start Ritual or add Essential for Women 18 and Up to your subscription today. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's Not Only Football is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Yo, whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews, news, or even motivational speakers, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue, right? And guess what? Now you can call the shots on your auto insurance too. Enter the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. The Name Your Price tool puts you in charge of your auto insurance by working just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, then they'll show you a variety of coverages that fit within your budget, giving you options. Now that's something you'll want to press play on. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be easy to choose the best option for you, fast. It's just one of the many ways you can save with Progressive Insurance. Quote today at progressive.com to try the Name Your Price tool for yourself and join the over 29 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You know who else she was a hero for? She was a hero for me. Because Bob picks up the newspaper and he's like, there's no way that street kid should be suing the coach. And she's like, why not? What did this town ever do for Jason?
Mm-hmm.
What did it ever do for him?
Yeah.
And I guess that's like the last like big outstanding storyline.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Where it started, the first one is, no. Well, sorry, I sound like a dum-dum.
No, you're excited. I like seeing it.
No, I love that scene when the lawsuit stuff's coming out and just the way, how torn Street is about it all and not begrudging like a pouty teenager, but, understanding some of the need of it. But then also the journey he has a little bit over there's one point where you've kind of been, I don't even want to say brainwashed into thinking like maybe coach should have taught me how to tackle.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't see it as like a brainwashing. I mean, the way he finds out is very jarring. Yeah. I think it's like, the first time you see Street, there he goes, wheeling out of the house again.
Oh, it's horrible.
He's heading down to the gas station.
4 miles away.
No. I think the gas station. But it's like, it also kind of showed, like, when I'm watching it again, I'm like, I was just so happy to be in a new place. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? Clint, or whatever his name was, the gas station attendant. I'm like, hey, let's talk, man.
You have a thing going with him.
We all love that. You and Clint were homies.
Yeah.
And now he's turned his back on you.
He's so cold.
But it's just like, as he's wheeling out and he's doing these new beginnings, he's making these new friendships and like all this stuff, like his Jeep is still in the driveway, which is what I noticed when I was watching. That Jeep is a stick shift, by the way. I never knew how to drive stick until the pilot of this show. And it's like I showed up,
How'd it go?
and they're like, we actually need you to drive about 3/4 of a mile and stick shift.
Oh, my God.
And then you have to pull into Minka's driveway, and you can't hit Minka. And I was like, well, why
Well,
don't
no,
you
I
just
would hope
put
you
Minka
don't
in a
hit
place where
Minka.
he's like, well, we need to have her in the driveway. Just don't hit Minka. And I'm like, I don't even know how to drive stick.
Wow.
That was like the scariest. Yeah, all the shit I did on this show, that might have been the scariest thing is driving that damn Jeep, man.
Yeah, that's scary.
Had a very tight clutch. Anyway, get down to the gas station. See what?
No, were this the last episode, we would have made something of that.
Oh, no. Guys, come on. But then he sees, and he's like, wait a minute. What the hell is this? Like, it's hit the news before he even knows that it's happened. And you see the division between his parents. You see that his dad
He's like, can't even deal.
is not happy with it. And the look he gives Cat Willis, Mama Street, before he walks out the door after I come home screaming and yelling about it in that scene where he says, nobody goes against the Panthers in this town.
Brutal.
You have set me up to be an outcast in this city. How dare you, basically, is what Jason's saying. He's like,
You can forget Homecoming King.
you know. I mean, he's just working so hard to try and find some normalcy and find a place where he respects himself and he can start to.
And you've already been taken
rebuild
away
himself.
out of this community and having to like orient yourself about how your relationship with the rest of the community is going to be, and you're building it. And this is like it's in your eyes, it's like it's an unforgivable for them to
but
it's a horrible position.
Cat
to be
Willis once again is the one that made me as an audience member.
Yes.
And made me as the actor doing it because
understand.
I was so young and such a rookie in all of this. I was so worried that the people watching the show were now going to hate Jason Street.
No.
I really was. Like, I am suing Coach Taylor. My character, like, am I the villain?
I know.
And I was so worried about that as a human being.
It plays.
As the actor, like, in the moment, like, I was really, and then Kat was the one that now as a parent, I'm watching it. Cry meter, I think I cried like 6 times in this episode, and it was the 2 hardest times were when my mom and my dad both state their cases. My mom to me, and my dad to Coach Taylor. And she says, maybe he should have taught you how to tackle, right? And you see her heartbreak because she's looking at
she's trying to find. I don't even want to say someone to blame, but
It
can't just be an accident.
Yeah.
And it's
freak accident.
And it is, as somebody who doesn't understand football really, I immediately, because of course initially I'm like, no, how could you? It's Coach Taylor. But then you're like, I was like, wait, is that something? Did they not teach him that? Is that something they should have known? Oh my God. Like I didn't know, and you see for her, it's like they are completely saddled with this thing, not only emotionally and physically, but also financially. Like this is like the most cost. What are they supposed to do?
That's the biggest thing. And the statistics on all of these things that Herc tells you in episode 3 or 4, here's what your future is going to look like. They're stratospheric. The amount of marriages that end because of a child of theirs, having an injury like this is up over like 50%. The percentage of relationships that end that weren't marriage for somebody who gets injured like this are in the 80+%.
Jesus.
Marriages for somebody who, suffers an injury like this fall apart. So if, Lila and Street were already married, you're talking up over 60%. And it's just because of the financial strain, nobody wanting to step up to help. Medical insurance doesn't kick in the way it does at the very beginning when you have the longevity coming along. It only pays for rehab for a certain amount of time. And then you got to figure out a way to pay for it yourself because it says basically the way the insurance companies work is, we'll help you get past your injury, but then that's your reality and you can do all of this stuff yourself. And that's what happens. And that is real. And nothing's changed, It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
And you saw it where they're trying to get help for Grandma Saracen.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you got to get a diagnosis, and she can't have Medicare until you get a diagnosis, but you've got to jump through all these hoops to make sure that you get it, and then there's like a 6-month waiting list. Guess what, guys? Things still haven't changed. We deal with Huntington's disease in our family, and still hasn't changed. Anyway, off my soapbox. The Coach Mitchell Street thing is crazy because Coach walks into my dad's place of employment and is like, "What are you doing, man?
What are you doing?
What do you expect you're going to
take
get
a seat?
out of this,
What are
man?"
you doing?" That's one of my favorite
like
things.
this.
We've been doing a lot in this house. There's definitely like
Talk to me.
The first thing is like like what are you doing? We're doing this a lot. Like to my dogs, I'm like, "What are you doing, son? Take a seat, son. Take a seat." I'm gonna get some more going too, but just there, he does have a very like, "What are you doing?"
Look at that. I love it. But Mitchell looks at him and says, probably the most just honest and heart-wrenching thing, where he's like, "You think this is hard for you? Like, this is tough for you? Try losing your son.
Yeah.
Period. Not being able to pay for anything. Building ramps out of your pocket, like doing all this stuff. Like, how are you coming in here and telling me that this is tough for you? Get the hell out of my office." And whereas, and Mark Nutter is the man that played my father. He was fantastic in the scene, but it also just he turns the corner.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Screw that. Like, don't come in here and try and, what? Strong arming? Is that what Coach is doing in the moment?" And then at the end of the episode, Coach just wants to stare me down.
I can't with that. That's heartbreaking. Come on, Coach.
Oh, see, I guess here's what I think. And maybe I'm not saying those were good decisions, but I did feel a little like who we know Coach to be. He wasn't trying to strong arm. Like it was inappropriate, but I think he thought, "Hey,
could be like,
we can talk because I know you're I get you're going through stuff, but also you know me, and we can just
being
talk
like
this
direct
out."
about it."
And it's totally wrong. And,
Yeah.
But then, I actually had written, I wondered in that moment for you if you felt like you were getting stared down, because I was a little watching it thinking, it's almost a little like,
We didn't talk that night,
wow,
Kyle and I.
well, no, like, okay, so I misread it. I thought there was a bit of like understanding of like,
There could have been. I think there could have. I felt a little. It was up in the air. It felt like that was kind of what made it interesting. Was that it was a little bit of both. There was a like kind of mono
like a little bit of a
mono.
I don't like you,
I
but
get
God
it.
damn it, I respect you.
Yeah, like
That
a
sort
moment of
vibe.
like, I see you in this way, but also obviously the pain
my
and the
feelings.
hurt and the betrayal and the thing so powerful there.
Yeah, and I wonder if because of that they tack on that extra scene where you see Street, go to him. But again, a kid acting like the adult in the situation, he goes to Coach and says, "Hey, like no matter what happens here, I didn't ask for this. None of us did. But the school's protected and they have to name a person. And I didn't want this. But if it's what my parents need, I have to go along with it," because he's trying to take one for his family, basically. Street is the one that's going to get most hurt in all of this.
Yeah.
But if he's the one that has to do it so his mother and father can not have to work as hard and not have to kill themselves trying to like make life livable for him, he knows he has to do it. And he goes to Coach and is just like, I hope that we can continue to have a relationship, and he's the bigger man in that moment.
Totally. You would hope that Coach would sort of do that. I mean, Coach is so famously great with like moral, but again, it shows kind of like his fallibility and his sort of like, inability. It's his humanity and his inability to always have like a wider perspective and stuff. And I think it's really powerful because you would hope that he would be like, well, Street's got to do it and he's a kid and I know he didn't want this, got to be really hard for him or whatever. But you're the one who kind of has to like build that bridge. It's a lot.
Yeah. The other thing that struck me in this episode is I had no control. Like now I can, when I go in for a fitting, I could be like, yeah, I'm not so sure my character would wear that. I don't know what was happening with Jason, but like all of a sudden now he's got these like tight fit like black jean jackets. And he's got like
he's
all
rebelling.
This, like,
He's got his girl back. He's out in the world.
He's got this emo like Racer X thing going on, and I'm like, what is this Jason Street? What am I wearing in these episodes, man?
He's finding himself.
I'm starting to do a little George Clooney ER like Caesar cut in this
you got
episode.
the wall
like,
as we called it. It's
yeah,
like you ran into a wall.
I was like, man, I think I would have made some different decisions if I was playing that character now. Yeah, but I think that's pretty much all four quarters. We didn't say who wins the game, but I want to do that in overtime because that's like one of my favorite moments of the episode. Was there anything else
in the episode? No, I think
it's overtime.
Hit it all. Yeah.
All right, overtime it is.
Yeah.
Buddy Garrity. We see everybody at the rodeo with one ear towards having a good time with their friends or their spouses or whatever, and the other ear listening to this game between Arnett Meade and Buckley. And the star player for Buckley gets hurt. Everybody thinks there's no way this is going to happen. Comes down to a blocked kick, return for a touchdown, and Buckley upsets them. But Buddy Garrity then goes to church.
Oh, yeah.
And sings and then prays by himself. Thank you, dear Lord, for granting my prayers to go to the playoffs. But, I'm going to ask you now. In all his sweaty glory, and Brad Leland just being so incredible. Now I just ask for state. And it's just like all the other shit going on in his life, and all he wants to pray at church. He physically goes to church to pray for a state championship. It's just, you see Buddy Garrity's true colors in this episode a little bit clearer, and it just sets him up, man. I can't wait to see more of Brad Leland as it comes forward. And then my biggest regret out of this episode is that there was a scene where I go to the Garrity household for dinner that was cut, where he just like Coach Taylor, stares me down all night, the entire dinner scene. But I call how the game's going to be won. I say every third week, Arnett Meade sucks on defense. This is a third week, so they're going to suck on defense. I don't know if that's going to do it, but I think a big special teams play is going to happen in this one, and I think Buckley's going to win.
Street's a prophet.
Prognosticator, a prophet. Are both those the kind of the same thing? Maybe. Yeah. Do you want your overtime to be what you found in the script?
I found in the script.
Did you find it?
I found it, and I did say, which I didn't say on screen.
I need you to deliver these lines as written, please.
Well, I'm just going to do the lines.
Look at me. Wait, do you need me to read in with you?
Wait, do you want to be? Yes.
You want to be my dad?
Do this together.
Yeah. I'm Henry. Okay.
All right, this will be our overtime.
Okay, overtime.
Hey, Dad, how's it going?
Going great.
Dad, I know you hate it here. Every day I see you put this stupid suit on. And look, you're so miserable.
That's just called going to work.
You don't look like you're going to work. You look like you're going to get drag hung.
For a lot of people, there's not that much of a difference. You just do what you got to do.
Well, I've been thinking about it. I don't think you need to do this.
What other way is there? You have no legal guardian.
Dad, look at me. I'm a man. I'm okay. I can take care of Grandma and go to school. She's been doing really good lately. She hasn't even had an episode in quite a while. Really, Dad, you should go back. It's okay. Oh, wow, that's long.
Well, I don't know if I could agree to do that.
I don't know if I could let you not let me. I don't know if I could let you not agree to it.
Look at me.
I can't read and look
Just
at you.
but look at me. My line's next. Ready? I really am a miserable car salesman.
Yes.
But you're a good soldier.
Sometimes that doesn't mean much.
Sometimes it does. You seen Buddy this morning?
Huh? What? Yeah, back to work. Just improv that last bit,
You got off the page a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit,
Look at me, Dad. I'm a man.
Me, Dad. I'm a man.
Okay.
And I did. I saw you.
Wait, did you deliver that on the day?
No, I said I'm not saying
Hell
this.
no.
You said, no, I'm not going to say this.
Well, I didn't have
You
to,
massaged
I
it.
didn't have to say I'm not going to say this. I just
You
said
just didn't say it?
Yeah.
You
All right.
said it with your eyes.
I just Kyled it.
Trust me, I saw it. Okay?
You just Kyled it. Well, that does it for the episode. That was our overtime as well. There's plenty more we could talk about every single episode. If there's something that we missed, something that you want us to cover, if you have any questions or
if you want
comments,
us to ever do any more scene readings, we can maybe incorporate one
if you
scene
love,
reading.
if you love the scene readings and you want more of those, let us know in the Apple Podcast rate and review section or the comment section over on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe while you're over there. It's a simple button click. And you can download and not even listen if you want to. I mean, if you're having a bad week or a busy week or whatever,
our week is worse,
but if you subscribe, it'll always still be there for you.
Yeah,
it'll be in your queue waiting for you, and it's just easier when that happens. We're going to do our segment now called Press Box. We're pulling these questions from the fans, from you guys out there listening, from those places I just told you to go and leave us comments and questions. And this one is from Caleb Garza. Did you guys have to shoot the show during normal school hours since the show was shot at Pflugerville High?
Good question.
Well, we didn't actually really shoot the show at Pflugerville High. We shot at a different school, which was actually like an alternative school. So we very often just shot during the school day, and the kids, they had to walk down the halls with their hands behind their backs, like in straight lines. It was pretty strict. So I guess I don't really. Yeah, it was weird because normally you would shoot on like a weekend or something.
Right, when they're not there. I would feel so nervous. Teenagers make me so nervous. I'd be
Yeah,
embarrassed.
a lot of times you do two things. There's something in the film business where you can do day for night or night for day, which means you're flipping it by either covering a building or shooting incredibly hot, bright light through a window to make it seem like it's day. I've worked on other shows that work at schools, and you do not shoot during school hours. You'll go there in the late afternoon and shoot into the night and make it look like it's still daytime. Or you find a school that no longer has a student population, like on Ginny in Georgia. We have two different schools, an elementary and a high school, and both of them are shot at the same building, which used to be a school in Toronto, but no longer has a student population. So it's basically, at this point, just a film studio. They just converted it. It's a really smart way to make money. So, Caleb, I hope that answered your question. One last question from Natty Brew. What is in an Aztec burger, and was it a real thing? I'll take this. Jason Street says what's in an Aztec burger in the very first episode. No sponsorships, though. No sponsorships, please, right? It wasn't a real thing. It was made up. It was at Easy's. We've talked about Easy's before. They did not actually have an Aztec burger. I think they had an Easy burger. But it did have lettuce, tomato, avocado, a nice little chipotle mayo.
There you go.
Ooh, some cheese, and some real Texas beef.
Did you say onions?
No onions.
Give me hunger.
Onions?
Hate onions.
Ugh, on a burger?
What the?
Hate onions.
You guys, I'm quitting.
I like grilled onions, not raw onions.
Grilled onions are good, but raw
Let
onions
us
are
know
good.
if you like grilled or raw onions in the comment section. But we are done. This was it. And this was, shit, guys, this was a lot of fun.
It's good times.
I got a
we love
full-on
it.
performance today, and I loved it.
Not bad, right?
Everybody out there listening, thank you so much for doing so. We will see you again next Thursday for another episode of It's Not Only Football Friday Night Lights and Beyond. For myself, Scott Porter.
I'm Zach Gilford.
I'm Mae Whitman.
We say Texas.
For now.
Forever.
For now?
No.
I don't know.
For now and ever.
Cue the music.
Text forever.